Hello students, this is the third part of force and laws of motion. In our previous part, we have studied about Galileo's experiment and Newton's first law of motion. In this part of force and laws of motion, we will study about what is inertia and types of inertia. So let us see. But before going in detail with this lesson, let me recall you Newton's first law of motion. So Newton's first law of motion states that every object tries to maintain its state of rest or of uniform linear motion unless it is compelled by some unbalanced external force. Or in other words, we can say that Newton's first law of motion states that every object resists or opposes a change in its state of rest or of uniform linear motion. And students, the property by which an object resists or oppose any change in its state of rest or of uniform linear motion is also known as inertia. So in this way we can say that Newton's first law of motion is also called law of inertia. Now let us see an example of inertia. So from this figure it is clear that figure A represents the arrangement in which a glass tumbler is placed on the top of a table, and over the glass tumbler a stiff card with a coin placed at its center is placed. Now what happens when we give a sudden flick to the card? You can see from figure B that the card flies off while the coin falls into the glass tumbler. So how this happens? Initially you can see that both the card and the coin are at rest, but when we give a sudden flick to the card comes in motion because of the force that I applied on the card. But this force is not shared with the coin, and the coin tries to maintain its previous state, that is state of rest, because of its inertial property, and hence it falls into the glass tumbler. So we can write initially both the card as well as coin are at rest. On giving a quick flick, the card comes in motion and flies away. But due to property of inertia, the coin tries to maintain its state of rest and falls into the glass tumbler. Now students, you know what is inertia. Inertia is the tendency of an object to remain in its state of rest or of uniform linear motion. So can we say that all the objects have same tendency to maintain its state of rest or of uniform linear motion? It means, does all the objects have the same inertia? So let us see this example. In this example you can see that two persons are pushing two different objects of mass 30 kg and 300 kg with same force. Now can you say which object will move easily? So it is clear that the lighter object, that is of 30 kg, will move easily after applying a force. It means we can say that the object of mass 30 kg has a lesser tendency to maintain its initial state of rest, while the object of mass 300 kg will move hardly any distance after applying the same force. It means it has more tendency to maintain its initial state of rest. And you know that the tendency to maintain its state of rest is known as inertia. So we can say that here the 300 kg object has more inertia than the lighter object, that is 30 kg. In this way we can say that heavier the object, larger be its inertia, and so mass of an object is measure of inertia. We know that the tendency of an object to remain in its state of rest or of uniform linear motion is known as law of inertia. So it can be divided into three parts. First part, the tendency of an object to remain in its state of rest, or we can say that the tendency of an object to oppose any change in its state of rest. Second part is the tendency of an object to remain in uniform motion. And the third part is the tendency of an object to remain in uniform motion along a straight line. It means the tendency of an object to oppose any change in uniform motion along a straight line. So based on these parts, inertia can be divided into following three parts. First, inertia of rest. Second, inertia of motion. And third one is inertia of direction. So we will discuss each of these part one by one. So our first part is inertia of rest. As the name suggests, inertia of rest means the tendency of an object to oppose any change in its state of rest by itself. So let us see some examples. So our first example is when a bus or a car starts suddenly moving forward, the passengers fall backward. So this can be understood as, suppose a passenger is sitting in a stationary bus or car. So initially both the passenger as well as the bus are at rest. But when the bus starts suddenly moving forward, the lower part of the passenger, which is in contact with the seat of the bus, also starts moving forward. But the upper part of the passenger, especially head of the passenger, which is not in contact, tends to maintain its state of rest because of inertia of rest, and that's why it feels a jerk and falls backward. So this is an example of inertia of rest. Our second example is when we vigorously shake the branch of a tree, some of the leaves, flowers and fruits fall from the tree. So again we can say that initially both the branch of tree and the fruits, flowers and leaves which are attached to the branch of tree are at rest. But when we vigorously shake the branch of a tree, the branch of tree comes in motion, that is, it displaces from its position. But the fruits and flowers tends to maintain its initial state, that is a state of rest, because of inertia of rest. And thus the flowers and fruits detached from the branch of tree and falls down because of gravity. In the same way, some of the leaves may also detach from the branch of tree and falls down. So this is also an example of inertia of rest. Our third example is when a carpet is beaten with a stick, dust particles come out of it. So it can also be explained in the same way that initially both the carpet and dust particles are at rest. But when we start beating the carpet with a stick, then the carpet comes in motion and the dust particles remains at rest because of the inertia of rest and falls behind. So it seems out that dust particles are coming out of it. Second is inertia of motion. So inertia of motion means the tendency of an object to oppose any change in its state of uniform motion by itself. This is called the inertia of motion. Now let us see some examples. So our first example is when the driver of a bus running at a high speed suddenly applies brakes, the passengers experience a forward push. So it can be explained that initially both the passenger as well as bus are in a state of motion. When the driver of the bus applies brakes, then what happens? The bus stops, and as the bus stops, the lower part of the passenger, which is in contact with the seat of the bus, also stops. But the upper part of the passenger, which is not in contact, remains in state of motion because of inertia of motion. And that's why the passengers experience a forward push. So this is an example of inertia of motion. Our second example is a person falls forward with his face downward while getting down from a running bus or train. So we can say that when the person gets down from the running bus or train, his feet touches the ground and come to rest. But the upper part of the person remains in motion because of the inertia of motion. That's why the person falls forward with his face downward. So in order to avoid falling on the road while getting down from a running bus or train, the person should run few steps in the direction of motion of bus or train. Our third example is the driver and passenger in a car should wear seat belts. Now students, you know it is very important for the passenger and driver to wear seat belts while driving. Now what happens in the absence of seat belts? In the absence of seat belts, when the car suddenly stops due to an emergency or an accident, then the lower part of the driver and passengers which are in direct contact with the seat of the car come to rest, but the upper part of the driver and passengers which are not in contact are still in state of motion because of the inertia of motion, and it might happen that the driver and passengers may throw out violently, which may cause serious injuries. So in order to avoid injuries, the driver and passengers must wear seat belts. Now what happens when they wear seat belts? In this case, when the car suddenly stops due to an emergency or an accident, then as soon as the car stops, the driver and passengers would also stop. So it may does not cause any injury. Now our next example is a fast bowler comes running from a long distance before throwing the ball. So in doing so, he attains a large inertia of motion which helps in bowling at a faster speed. So all these are example of inertia of motion. Now we will understand what is inertia of direction. Now what is inertia of direction? The tendency of an object to oppose any change in its direction of motion is called the inertia of direction. Now students, before discussing the example of inertia of direction, let me recall you a concept from previous chapter, motion. In previous chapter motion, we have learned that in circular motion, at every instant the direction of motion of the object is changing. For example, if I ask you what will be the direction of motion at this point A in this circular motion, then you probably say the direction of motion of this stone at this point A will be along the tangent at this particular point. Okay, now let us see an example of inertia of direction. So our first example is, let a stone tied to a string be moving in a horizontal circle. If the string breaks suddenly, the stone flies off tangentially. Now let us understand this situation. In this situation, you can see that the man is describing a horizontal circle with the help of a stone and a string. And this man is providing constantly a pull to the stone which helps the stone to move in a horizontal circle. It means if there is no pull acting on this stone, then the stone will not describe this horizontal circle. So what happens if the string breaks suddenly? Suppose the time at which the string breaks suddenly, the stone will be at this point A. Now you know that at this point A, the direction of motion of the stone will be along the tangent at this point A. As there is no pull acting on this stone, so at this particular point A, the stone tries to maintain its initial state of direction. That is, it tries to move along the tangent at this particular point, and that's why the stone flies off tangentially. So this particular example is an example of inertia of direction. Our second example is, when a fast moving bus or a car take a curve on road, passengers of the bus or car experience an outward push. So this happens because the passengers tends to maintain his initial direction of motion. Now students, in this video we have learnt about inertia, that inertia is the tendency of an object in which it tries to maintain its state of rest or of uniform linear motion. Also we have seen that inertia depends on mass. Heavier the mass, larger the inertia will be. Or types of inertia as inertia of rest, inertia of motion and inertia of direction with their examples. In our next part of force and laws of motion, we will discuss what is momentum and how the impact produced by an object depends on its mass as well as velocity. what is the rate of change of momentum, how the Newton's second law of motion is related to the momentum, and mathematical formulation of second law of motion. Thank you, students.